Okay, did you know that JavaScript doesn't just run on browsers in your on your website, but it also runs on servers as well? Do you want to create one? Okay, let's go. So for this, we're going to need NodeJS installed on your computer. You can download it from nodejs.org. Let me show you the website just so that you know where it is. There you go, nodejs.org. Just download whatever one is appropriate for you. When you go to the homepage, it should say Windows if you're on that. And you can download it there. Okay, once you've downloaded and installed that, you should be able to go and do this, node-v. And you should see it on your path like that. That'll do it for you automatically in your console. Now, we're going to need that later, so just make sure you've done that step before you carry on. Right, now I've got this folder. I've just opened it in VS Code. I'm going to write a node server here. First of all, I'm just going to do npm init. Oh, actually, my server. My server. Because we need to add a few things to this, so I'm going to make an Express server. And Express is a framework that commonly is used on Node, just to give us a few helping hints and things like that. So I'm just going to do npm init so that I can turn this into a package, and therefore I'm just pressing enter. I'm not putting anything in here, but just doing npm init will allow us to pull things in from Node, and it will give us the output of a package.json file, as it says in the browser window there, just so that we can add things to it in a minute. Okay, so npm express. You don't have to use Express, you can just use regular JavaScript, but a lot of places do use Express or something similar. So we're going to just start with that. Right, okay, so now we're going to just import Express, and we do it slightly differently in Node because it uses a slightly older JavaScript syntax. I think it will update eventually, but remember we used to do import Express. Now, it's probably not going to like that, so we're going to put Express, okay? And now we're going to create a new Express app. Now, why did we do that? Because if you just start using Express, you're not actually running the function. What you're going to do is actually run it by calling the function Express, and then that will allow you to create a new application. All right, so don't just use Express, import it and then instantiate it like that. Instantiation. All right, okay. Now we need a couple more things here. We need const port process nv.prt or 3000. Okay, what this does is process environments variables. So a lot of applications have secrets, okay, things they don't want to be publicly accessible, and so they will have a .env file, or something will get injected into the server environment, and you can put things in there, and then in the server environment you'll typically find this sort of thing. Okay, so the port is 3000. All right, and it will pick that up using the process environment variables. Right, okay, now we've got our applets. Let's do something. App get. And we're going to get the home page or the index page, and then we're going to call a function to do something with that. Now, because we've got Express, this is using Express, you'll be able to see what parameters you can pass to your function. So this is the request object and the response. If you think about it, all websites work this way. You send a request for a web page, and the web page is sent back to you, and that is the response. Okay, so this is just what we're doing here. Okay, so we're going to put something into a variable, and look at this, h1. It's HTML. Look at that. Res.send greeting. Okay, so the response is going to be that we'll send this greeting or the string of HTML that we've got. And then we're going to tell the app to listen on the port that we've specified. And then there's going to be another function that's going to do something. Now, here's another little thing that we're going to learn. I could just do app and then plus port, so that we can tell everybody what port it's listening on to. But instead, we're just going to do this. This is called string interpolation. Okay, so when you've got these two things, it's called backticks, and it basically makes a string, but it allows you to interpolate it or put things into it. For example, we have put the variable port into there using this $sign and then curly brackets around it. So that'll be able to resolve whatever this port is for us. So if it's running on a different port, we'll see it here. Okay, right, shall we see if that works? So we go node index. I'm going to run that. Oh, look at that. App listening on port 3000. App listening on port. So that is exactly what we've got here. And it's now listening for us. So if we go to our browser, put localhost. Okay, so websites have got loads. So websites obviously have the URL here. But if you're running something on your local machine, you've got a local host, which you can access your website on. And I'll explain ports in a minute. There's our website. Isn't that cool? We have made a web server. Now a port is, if you think about it, if you had like every server had a domain, and then you could only do one thing with that. There would only be one point in and out, which would be the URL, wouldn't it? There's only one point of entry and exit. But so you'd have to have different servers for each domain for everything you wanted to do. So instead of doing that, what we have are ports. So you have different ingress and egress points. So you can do different things with different ones, and therefore you only need one server to do lots of things. All right, so the ones that you commonly use for web development are 3000, 8000, and 8888. Okay, commonly used, but you find others. There are some that are in use by your computer all the time, so you won't be able to use just any ports, but there's quite a lot of them. Right, we have got a web server. How about that? What about switching it up a little bit? Let's add another root here. Now I'm going to put this root as just a string, but I'm going to put that inside an array. Array is defined with square brackets. Okay, so now that this can have multiple different things inside it, so I'm going to add another one here. Yeah, like this. So I could put Bob. But I don't want it to just be Bob. I want to put whatever I want. Name. So by using this colon, it's not going to resolve. It's not going to put colon name at the end, because that's not valid syntax, because you've got another colon here. See. So what it's going to do is going to interpret that as a variable. Yes, we can have variables. They're called parameters. Okay. Right. Now, in order to get that into my application, I need to pass it from the request parameters. So name equals request parameters, and then I'm going to just select it by name. So I'm going to make sure that I can select the name of all of the request parameters, because there are a lot of them. Okay. And now I can do this kind of thing. If we have a name, send greeting pass that in there. Or if not, we can do an else statement, but it's not really necessary. You can just send the greeting here. Yay. Okay, so there we go. So that's now got some parameters and an if statement. So if we've got a name, it will return both the greeting. Oh, actually, we haven't done the interpolation there. There we are. It'll return the greeting and the name as a string. Otherwise, it'll just return the greeting. Okay, now I don't have hot module reloads here, so I'm just going to stop this and start it again. Node index. Yes, listening. Good. So that's going to be the same. Bob is going to return Bob. How cool is that? Right, now this can allow us to do lots of different things. We can build up a whole web page and we can host it on our Express or Node application anywhere in the world, any way we want to. It's not the fastest or best way of hosting websites, but it is one option that's open to you. But what is also open to you is this kind of thing, where you've got data, and maybe you've got let's use var because I'm not sure that one. Where you've got ID 1, and I don't need to put a number in a string. Let's use a number. Name. Ben. Okay, so say you've got a user that you want to return. Okay. So instead of sending a HTML down, we can put I thought that would happen. Okay, JSON stringify data. Okay. All right. So this will then return. I didn't stop my server and restart it. Rookie mistake. So it's not got access to name here. There, because we haven't actually got the request response object because I deleted it. Right, let me just get my code again. Hang on. All right, let me stop that and start it again. All right. Now we have what's called an API, application interface. So this isn't something that's meant to be returned or read by humans. It's something that can be read by computers, and you can then use this to populate your website with data. And that's the next lesson. So we're going to use, in the next lesson, we're going to see how we can fetch data like this from an API in your application. See you in the next one. So, just to recap. So what we did, we created, instead of a website, we created an index.js. We wrote a server, some code to get request and response, and we sent something back. And we also told the app to listen and then log out what port it was listening so that we knew where we could go and find this on our local host at this port. And then we can send a parameter down there and destructure it using this here. And then we put instead of a simple string, we put this into an array. So that we could use this splat or this parameter. Okay, I hope that makes sense, and I shall see you in the next one.